You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our source today, Department of Migrant Workers Officer in Charge, Hans Cacdac. Sir Hans, welcome to The Source. It's good to see you again.
Yes, good morning, Pinky, and to your televiewers. Good morning.
Let's start with Israel. Sir Hans, how many Filipinos have actually made it home in the country?
Yes, by our count, it's 59 adults and 2 babies, 2 infants, and counting. We are slated to receive on October 30th another batch, the 4th batch of around 25. And we are processing still about 80 or 90 more. Well, the lines are still open in terms of requests for voluntary departure. And we will be there to provide assistance, the DMW and OWA, and of course in partnership with our embassy ambassador Lilo on the ground.
I'm seeing the repatriation of our kababayans from Israel, sir. More or less, it's about 20, 25 per batch, ano po? Because there have been 3 in the past and 1 forthcoming, you said, I believe, October 30.
Yeah,
Bakit po ganun ka? Why that particular number? Bakit po hindi parang isang malakihan o isang, maybe 50 or more?
Yeah, as you can imagine, the situation on the ground is dependent on the approvals, the flights out of Ben Gurion International Airport. So the flight bookings are rather stringent these days. And but rest assured, we will be booking periodically our OFWs who wish to be repatriated.
I see.
There's just some difficulty along these lines. Yes, but we'll manage. We'll bring them home.
Yeah. There are still 80, you said, Sir Hans, that are currently being processed. When you mean being processed, what does that mean?
Okay, that's a good question, because when we say process, we mean we validate, we ask them, confirm whether they are indeed decided to go home, because we're still at alert level 2, so we're not even in the voluntary repatriation stage yet, which means it is a voluntary departure basis upon which we're operating. And so we're asking them whether they really wish to come home, number 1. But number 2, just as important, we're asking them, or at least confirming or looking into the contractual situation, more particularly whether there are finished contracts, or if not finished contracts, then there should be at least in Tagalog, magandang paghihiwalay, a positive break from their respective employers, so that there could still be jobs that they could return to if the situation improves.
Very interesting you said that, Sir Hans, because that's actually what I wanted to ask you, because based on interviews dun sa mga kababayan po natin sa Israel, they seem to really have a good working relationship, hindi ho ba, with their employers. That's why I wanted to find out, uuwi ho sila kasi napipilitan sila dahil siguro sa takot, mainly dahil po sa takot, ano po. But is there some sort of agreement na kapag, if it's safer, kapag humupa na po yung gulo, ay maaari po silang makabalik sa lalong madaling panahon?
Yes, of course. Rest assured, we're trying to secure that possibility. We have to thank Ambassador Juni Lilo, because when we were still discussing the initial stages of repatriation, he pointed this out and asked us to at least double down on our efforts to again assure our workers and their employers of a clean and positive break from employment at this stage. So we talk to the workers and the employers, and or at least ask the workers to make sure that they have adequately informed their employers, and there should be at least a semblance or a turnover. Because our OFWs are caregivers. Most of them are caregivers, so they are taking care of the elderly. So at least an assured turnover of their elderly patients to whoever, a relative who could take care of them.
Caregivers, Sir Hans, that have been called heroes by Israel even because of what they've done to care for the elderly and not leave them, at least those who unfortunately died due to the conflict there. Sir, we just need to take a very short break, but I want to get a situation also and find out how the government, is taking care of our kababayans in terms of shelters. Let's talk about that during our Facebook Live now. No, we just need to take a short break, but we'll be live on Facebook. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our source today, Migrant Workers Officer in Charge, Hans Cacdac. So we talked about the shelter, no? How actually that happens, especially last October 7 on Facebook Live. We're back on television, Sir Hans. Let's talk about Gaza. How many are at the border waiting to cross, and how are they?
Okay, Ms. Pinky, please forgive me because I would have to defer to the DFA along those lines. But what I do know is that there are 137 Filipinos in Gaza, and most of them had been moved to the border, to the Rafah crossing, and awaiting to cross.
That's right.
Into Egypt. So just like everyone else, I believe. So that's as much as I know, Ms. Pinky,
Yes.
because
No problem, Sir Hans.
the DFA, most of the Filipinos in Gaza are non-OFWs.
Opo, yung sinabi nga po the latest there also that I understand from Undersecretary De Vega is that there were about 136 Filipinos in Gaza with 41 around 40 to 41 Palestinian spouses, and that Egypt supposedly had asked the data of the Filipinos wanting to leave na nandun po sa border, and even their Palestinian relatives. So I think we're all hoping for a positive response regarding this. So what about Lebanon? Let's move now to Lebanon. Sir, meron na hubang nakaalis from Lebanon? How many have said that they wanted to be repatriated?
Okay, just the other day, 2 days ago, the embassy, Ambassador Balatbat in Beirut, had announced, along with our Migrant Workers Office, our labor attaché there, announced that repatriation would be available, announced that Filipinos could be aided or helped in terms of repatriation. So our labor attaché had undertaken community outreach and currently listing those willing to be repatriated. And there are currently flight bookings being arranged, and it won't take long. It won't take long, and we will have our first batch of repatriates out of Lebanon as well.
Possibly this week. Abot ho kaya this week, Sir Hans?
We're trying our best. We're trying our best in terms of the repatriations. Again, you can also imagine the situation on the ground where people are finding ways to get flight bookings, finding ways to be repatriated. There are other avenues for repatriation, Ms. Pinky. I won't get into the details of the routes and the other means, but rest assured, we are looking into the other means in which they will be repatriated out of Lebanon, and we're working on the transport arrangements as well.
All right. Any updates, sir, on the claims of our unpaid workers, Filipino workers who had to leave Saudi Arabia? Because during the recent visit to Saudi Arabia by the president, he said the Saudi government is, sinabi nga niya po, processing the back wages. This was also very important to the late head of the DMW, Ma'am Toots Sople.
Yes, of course. Sec Toots had visited Saudi Arabia twice over the last 10 months and had established very strong cordial relations with her counterpart, the Saudi Minister of Human Resources and Social Development. And the last visit of the president was fruitful. He had reported in a kapihan in Riyadh prior to his departure for the Philippines. And there he had already mentioned that he had talks with the Royal Crown Prince, and there is a continued sustained commitment from the Saudi side to deliver in terms of the settlement of the claims, payment of the claims. So there are internal processes as we speak that are ongoing with the Saudi side. There is a from our talks with our own counterparts there, Yusek P.Y. Kaunan led the discussions. We were also informed that the Ministry of Finance is on board to take care of the financial matters because this would involve disbursement of funds. So this will unfold hopefully in the coming months. It's just hard to pin down a timeline at this point, Pinky, because the Saudi processes still continue, and in principle, of course, we respect the Saudi processes, and at the same time, will continue to persist in terms of coordination and follow-ups with the Saudi government.
I'm sure you will be relentless in this. Very quickly, you are going to attend an MOU. Sir, please tell us more about this very quickly.
Yes,
MOU
yes.
signing.
We are raised to witness a signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Philippines and the Republic of Austria on the deployment of skilled workers to Austria, professionals and skilled workers to Austria. So we look forward to it, and they'll be having their National Day later. So we look forward to engaging the Austrian side in discussions. Of course, we have Ambassador Luli Arroyo on the ground, and we're thankful to her for the very, very robust coordination and talks with the Austrian government.
We'll try to get more information on that during our next talk, our next interview. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Migrant Workers Officer in Charge, Hans Cacdac. Thank you, sir. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.